Urban Development. And I welcome Secretary Aliling to the Senate. Let me direct the Committee Secretary to acknowledge your resource persons.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon. For the briefing on the FY 2026 proposed budget of the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development and attached agency and corporations, namely the Human Settlements Adjudication Commission or HSAC, National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation or NHMFC, National Housing Authority or NHA, and Social Housing Finance Corporation or SHAFC, we would like to acknowledge our resource persons from BHSUD. We have the Secretary Jose Ramon Ping Aliling, together with Senior Undersecretary Henry Yap, Senior Undersecretary Sharon Faith Pakis, Undersecretary Odilon Pasaraba, Undersecretary Ramon Quintin Claudio Aliado, Undersecretary Eduardo Robles Jr., Assistant Secretary Maylene Rivera, and Assistant Secretary Angelito Aguila. For the Human Settlements Adjudication Commission or HSAC, we are still waiting for the Executive Commissioner Maria Victoria Reyes Beltran, together with Commissioner Fidel Esconde, Commissioner Sergio Yap, Commissioner John Christopher Mahamud, and Commissioner Michael Cloribel. For the NHMFC, we have the President Renato Tobias, together with Attorney Joshua Emmanuel Carino, Attorney Victor Alan Hilaw, and Attorney Erica Catherine Aguas. For NHA, we have the General Manager Joe Bentay, and Ms. Lorna Diolola, the Acting Group Manager of the Financial Services Group. For the SHAFC, we have the President and CEO, PCEO Federico Laksa, together with Attorney Junife Payot, Attorney Leo De Ocampo, VP Florencio Carandang Jr., VP Dante Anabe, VP Elsa Kalimlim, VP Philip Robert Flores, VP Joseph Aisma, VP Felman Gilbang, and VP Josefina Banglagan. For the HDMF or the Pag-ibig Fund, we have the CEO Marilyn Acosta, together with Deputy CEO Alexander Hilario Aguilar. We have also requested the presence of DBM and COA. For DBM, we have Director Benjula Zuniga, Ms. Eliza Jane Marnello, Ms. Cheryl Morilla, and Director Lulu Vispo. For Commission on Audit or COA, we have Mr. Amado Ablao, Mr. Dave Salazar, Mr. Paul Adam Tablante, Ms. Caroline Maranan, Mr. James Carlo Magdarang, Ms. Nora Michelle Ordillos, Mr. Evan Triol, and Ms. Liza De La Cruz. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Comsec. So let's begin with the budget presentation of the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, and then we can also present the budgets of the other agencies, the key shelter agencies of DSUD, and then after that we can have a question and answer portion. So we recognize Secretary Liling for the budget presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We will now start our presentation. Yusek Henry Yap will facilitate.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. On behalf of DSUD, we would like to present our budget today, anchored on our mandate to ensure safe, resilient, and inclusive human settlements. This proposal reflects our strategic priorities, sectoral gains, and the evolving needs of our community. In today's presentation, we will cover DSUD and its attached agencies, a brief overview of the housing sector, summary of the appropriations including historical appropriations from 2019 to the present, our performance for 24 and 25, and a report on the earmark revenues and off-budget accounts. We will end with a proposal of our legislative agenda. So the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development is the national government's lead agency for housing and urban development. We are mainly a planning, policy-making, regulatory, program coordination, and performance monitoring agency with primary focus on access to and affordability of basic human needs. Our attached agencies are the National Housing Authority, the Social Housing Finance Corporation, the Home Development Mutual Fund or Pag-ibig, National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation, and our Human Settlements Adjudication Commission. They basically cover financing, production, and adjudication, forming a holistic shelter ecosystem. Our National Housing Authority is primarily in charge of housing production for our low-income families. We'd like to thank the Senate for helping us with NHA's new charter that was passed at the middle of this year, Republic Act 12216, which extends its corporate life for another 25 years. NHA's main program may be divided into three: resettlement programs, housing finance program, and other programs. In the case of resettlement, they basically handle the informal settler families affected by the Supreme Court mandamus to clean up the Manila Bay area. They also have resettlement programs for LGU and for former rebels. In terms of housing assistance, they cover government employees, indigenous peoples, student dormitories, and calamity victims. And for other programs, they cover settlement upgrading as well as an emergency housing assistance program, or EHAP. In the case of the Social Housing Finance Corporation, it is our lead government agency in developing and administering social housing programs, particularly the Community Mortgage Program, or CMP, and the Abot Kaya Pabahay Fund Program. Recently, with the revival of the CMP, they have enhanced the program and expanded to cover more beneficiaries. It actually bridges informal settlements to formal housing with a strong focus on affordability and tenure security. The next agency is the National Home Mortgage Corporation. National Home Mortgage Corporation strengthens housing finance ecosystems by purchasing loan receivables from originators and providing liquidity. It also securitizes those receivables by mobilizing private capital for socialized housing, a key to scaling up the delivery of these projects. Over the years, the NHMFC has developed programs related to loan receivables, including their home program, the Mabuhay program, and their Berde program. In addition, they have developed numerous securitization of asset-backed securities, and every year they're able to release or develop these bonds for additional financing for the requirements. The last attached agency is the Human Settlements Adjudication Commission. It's a quasi-judicial agency that adjudicates, among others, disputes related to human settlements, real estate development, homeowners association, as well as appeals regarding decisions of local zoning bodies. They basically handle cases and try to implement laws, rules, and regulation on zoning, subdivision, condominium development, and intra and inter-HOA disputes. The Pag-ibig, or the Home Development Mutual Fund, has twin mandates. They basically provide savings for its members and also housing finance for its members. Recently, the Pag-ibig developed new programs to expand and make it more easier for their members to be able to access loans, such as the special 3% per annum rate for the first 5 years of their loan under the Pag-ibig 4PH Home Loan Program. In addition, they expanded this subsidy for economic housing between 850,000 and 1.8 million by offering 4.5%. In addition, they are also disposing their acquired assets, and they are also providing home improvement program, a new program that has been developed in the last 2 months. So let me now give you a brief sector review where we are today. The target housing need for the period 2023 to 2028 is 3.396. This estimate is based on the projection using the 2020 Census for Population and Housing. However, if we are to add good units or acceptable units that would probably fall into disrepair during the period there will be another 3.5 million numbers. So how are we performing as far as this is concerned? We wish to clarify that prior to the assumption of our new secretary, we were developing a 4PH program. Unfortunately, that program had a lot of delays because while it was developed in 2023 and formally launched in developed in 2022 and formally launched in 23, it was only in 2024 that we were able to get funding from the GAA. These issues spanned program design, and because of its vertical structure-centric concept, was facing difficulty among buyers, among developers. It is for this reason that we have decided to amend and expand the modality from one to a multiple of choices. The expanded 4PH is more inclusive and responsive, aligned now with the income decile and affordability threshold. In this chart, those colored in green can now be afforded by many of our beneficiaries, while those in red are the type of financing which may have difficulty with our beneficiaries. Our current modalities now include the resumption of awards for presidential proclamations, NHA's resettlement program, the revival of the SHFC CMP, and as well as horizontal low-rise, mid-rise, and high-rise options. These actually now provide a better and bigger ecosystem for beneficiaries to choose from. Over the years, we have been developing projects, and next slide please. This principally shows you how much housing assistance had been provided into the industry. During the presidency of Pinoy, the total direct and indirect provision amounted to about 700,000. In the last administration, this figure increased to about 800,000. To date, we have already reached 399,000, and we should be able to accomplish 1.133 million by the end of this current administration. In the regular programs of the SUD, we cover the registration of homeowners association, the provision and the approval of the land use plans, and the issuance of certificate of registrations and license to sell. As of June 2025, we have already registered a total of over 2,500 neighborhoods, 23,800 homeowners associations, 226 federations, and 36 confederations. In the case of land use plans, the approved land use plans total 46 for the period up to June 2025, and approved PDP-FP of 5. PDP-FP refers to the provincial plans. In terms of license to sell, residential license to sell total 218 as of the middle of the year, and for non-residential, 38. We would like to thank the Senate for providing us funding for Integrated Disaster Shelter Assistance Program. Last year, our first year, we were given 200,000, and that amount have actually been consumed. 200 million, sorry. As of this year, we were given 550, of which 200 has been spent. 200 million has been spent, and 300 million were additionally released to us last week. This fund is used to cover augmentation to the local governments who will provide support to the houses damaged by natural calamities and disasters such as typhoons, floods, earthquakes, and fires. To date, we are going to eventually request additional funding given the amount of families that are affected. The next slide shows you the agency's performance in terms of production and finance on a year-to-year for the first semester. In the case of direct housing provision, last year, 2024, the first quarter, the total